Guess I should turn the microphone on. Good morning, everybody. My name is Osa. It is Friday. I don't know, 25th. And we are playing Farming Sim 22 on Maypole Farm. We are chopping down trees again. I think I have now made the decision that this forested area is going to become an extension to the field that we are planning to buy later this year. So I will not be using our tree planter. But we got it cheap, so it's not that bad, I guess. Are you a bird or a errant piece of wood? Let's go with errant piece of wood and zap. So, it is the day after Thanksgiving, so I do not have to go to work today, or I never have to go to work. I do not have to sit and work from home today. So, a little bit more forestry. I finally got around to kicking off Silver Run Forest, and oh my goodness, logging cranes, still as bad as I remember them. The logging tree felling tools, very nice, yes. When I finally got figuring out how to work them, I do like those. From what I've seen of the processors, they are also good pieces of equipment. I'm kind of undecided whether it's better to get a processor or a tree feller. And the reason is if you've got a tree that is too big for the tree felling thing to do, you have to do all of the chopping down and processing with a chainsaw. Whereas with a processor, you can chop off the big bit at the bottom and let the processor process the top of the tree. So, kind of liking that as a theory. Back away. Oh, that's not good. There we go. The skid steer tools. Oh my goodness, I hated those. Trying to pick up trees with this thing here. Oh, no way. Part of the reason is it's the old way we had to do with the logging fork in Farm Sim 17. Excuse me. Where you point the forks at the ground like this and then just try and wrap the log fork round the tree. I'm not sure I can even do it anymore. But you kind of do it like that and then close in the log fork and, yeah, break it. But the skid steer tool doesn't sort of scoop and grab, which is what this log fork does now. Fortunately, I didn't break it, so that's a thing. Long hauler, good morning, and hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Yeah, haven't had a chance to use the grapples yet. The Typhoon, which is what I've been informed, where is it? Logging equipment, forestry equipment. This thing is actually called. This has been around since Farm Sim 17 as a mod. And I have used it in the past. Very handy, just hook up a log and drag it along the ground. And I did like... I have used it in the past, although generally I'm more of a tractor with a front loader, grab the thing and... Yeah, the problem I have with the grapples or the cranes and stuff is the control options for them. They don't seem to play well with the side panel. They used to play. I used to have no problems with the side panel in 17 because there's a toggle button which allows you to switch between sort of joystick mode 1 and joystick mode 2, which means for something like a telehandler. Did I turn the engine off? Yes. For something like a telehandler, if I get in here, I have down, up, right, left, and then twist right, twist left, or twist clockwise, twist anti-clockwise. For a telehandler, you also have in and out. And back in Farm Sim 17, if you push the toggle, you immediately switch to the joystick to in and out and bend and not bend in. Yeah, if it had an elbow. So, for example, if this joint here bent, this one here, then that was on the auxiliary operation of the joystick. But the auxiliary operation of the joystick doesn't seem to work, or hasn't worked with Farm Sim 19, and I haven't got it to work with Farm Sim 20. So I'm stuck with using the mouse, and I suck at using the mouse when I'm doing this sort of thing. Okay, why aren't you letting me chop this tree down? Is this tree not in my territory? Okay, that's weird. But, okay, there we go. I'm going to go try this one again. Oh, there it is, yes. Okay, we can chop this one down. I was just in completely the wrong place with the chainsaw. There you go. And chop. So I'm going to try and load these three up. Oops. That's... okay. At least it fell down in the field. But yeah, I need to get used to things like that. And yeah, the other forestry stuff. Forestry, bing. Yeah, these things, basically, I like the fact that I can press a button and it will kite into the tree. And so if you hold the button down, you can just sit there and this thing will bend and twist and turn until it's grabbed the tree, and then all you have to do is cut it. So I assume same with that. Same with that. That's the one we got for cheap. There's then these things which chop... I mean, I suppose these things chop trees down, and you can carry the tree to somewhere, but then you need the processor, which... oh, these things. Then you need sort of one of these, not with a grapple, not with a fast cut, with that. And that's not a thing that chops trees down. That's at least not that I'm aware of. Maybe it does. Maybe it's the smaller one. Grapple, fast coupler. That's a processor. So this one with the processor, you can pick up the tree from the ground and just chop it into lengths, which is kind of nice. So that one has a tree felling thing. I'm not sure I'd bother with it. I mean, I suppose you could get the fast coupler and then... No, I don't have enough money. I do not want to buy that. Combinations. So you can then... that's a feller, that's a mulcher, that's a planter. So yeah, you can mess around with those things. I think... should we chop the tree up? That would be a plan. Yes. But yeah, the big doodads, like let's go back to here. These things. These look like fun, being able to just move a tree from one end to the other. Now we have found that this trailer's a bit dancey. Semi-trailer not so sure of at the moment. Okay. Oh, the other thing I have discovered doing this is if you look down, you're more likely to hit most of the branches. Sometimes not. But the problem is I was kind of running along the tree like this and just not getting all of them. Looking down, I tend to get more of them. I seem to be having issues with this tree. There you go. And somewhere over here, there's a problem tree. Oh, don't do that yet. I am going to use Strongman and drag this back into the field. Or not. Okay, there we go. It's better. Exactly, yeah. Yes, yarders. Yarders are cool. Okay, allow me to do some math for a minute. 25. I am having trouble. Oh, there we go. Trouble chopping trees up. 25, 31, 37. And the end disappears. Yeah, we did actually end up having some Thanksgiving food yesterday. How did that fall off? Teenage Osa gave Mrs. Osa a hand to do all the cooking, which was good. Okay, we want to go 401, 407. Now this is something I used to do. We'll chop the end off and then nuke the tip. With the measure mod, but the measure mod hasn't been working for me in Farm Sim 22. It did initially, and then it conflicted with something. However, I have learnt that so long as you chop a tree approximately 16, approximately on north, south, east, west, you can use the map coordinate system to figure out how long to cut each bit. So it's not a complete disaster. Where did I leave my tractor? Right there. Oh, it does. Actually, I noticed Lumberjack had just been patched, so I'm guessing I did read something about that. I haven't figured out how to work it, but and it could be that the Lumberjack mod and the old measure mod were messing with each other, which is why the measure mod didn't work. I mean, the thing I use Lumberjack for most is destroying trees that are just in the way, at least on this map. On most maps, not so much. And what is it? Strongman. Because it's not something you have to exit exit to a menu to activate and deactivate. If I use the easy development tools, I've got to come here, I've got to go there, I've got to somewhere. I don't know. Where's it hiding? Somewhere there's a strongman mod in here. And yeah, that's all to the well and good, but oh, wood cutting marker, marker. But with the lumberjack mod, you just press the left alt button and it temporarily turns on strongman. So it's not on all the time, so you don't turn it on, walk around, click on a tractor and then throw the tractor halfway across the map because you forgot you had strongman mod turned on. Because you can put it on permanently, I think by double clicking the left alt button, but generally if you just hold it down, click what you want to pick up, I find it a lot easier to use than the ones where you toggle it on, toggle it off, because invariably you forget it's on. Yeah, for me, it's kind on this map. I find it very useful for what is it? Just clearing out a row of trees that's in the way. I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. Good. So, for example, if I wanted to keep this as a forestry area, there's a bunch of trees over at the entrance to this field, which aren't really ideal for logging. So I would just go in and chop them all down. So you chop them down and you keep stabbing them with a chainsaw until they completely disappear. And I find that terribly useful. Also, these hedges are alien gym style hedges, I believe, which means they have a stick in the middle of them, and if you cut the stick down, the hedge disappears, or the associated hedge disappears. But it leaves you with a lot of short sticks. Now, he had a map back in 17, it released right on the end of 17, which had some trigger points that if you click them it would create buildings in a yard. And I played that for a little bit in Farm Sim 19, and that also had the tree stumps, and I got the little sort of stump chipper. Wasn't good for trees this size, but it did do tiny trees or little wooden logs inside hedges and fences. And I got so little money from the little logs I was chipping that I just decided that really wasn't worth it. Now again, today is probably going to be shorter than a Saturday stream. And we do have our contractor coming over supposedly to put up a stair railing or step railing on the front porch, because Mrs. Osa's going in for surgery in about 2 weeks' time, and we kind of need some assistance getting up and down the steps, especially as it's winter time, and that adds to the complications. That's... I wonder... Oh, tip it the right way. Let's... Yay! Well... use all the bits and all the stuff, and it's possible to manhandle that into... I think I've really parked this in the wrong place. Let's pull forward about 50 yards, not even. get it so I can drive up to the trailer and not over a stump. So yes, this is the edge of the field. What's he got in it? He's got wheat in it. I don't mind having a wheat field. So potentially we might look into doing something with that. At the moment, the price, I think he's expecting 10% over typical land value for the area. So not entirely convinced it's worthwhile buying. I did do a check of fields around here. Oops, time to save. Field 61 or plot 68 is good. That's at 32% below normal rate. But this one is 9% high. 9% high isn't bad. We got this one for a 43% down. So this field here was cheaper than this one. And it's bigger. So it's worth with the variable land prices or whatever it is. It's worth keeping an eye on the land that you want and picking the best time to buy. Don't just go all out. That's not ideal. Okay. And we've got all sorts of stuckness going on. There we go. So. And I just hefted that over the stump, so yay me. As I've said, I am finding it much easier to pick up logs these days. You don't have to come in from directly above and kind of tweezer them off the ground. It is possible to scoop and lift. Now, of course, the problem I have here is this is one of the larger front loader tractors, so I'm kind of lucky it came up on a sale very early on in this series. But the fact that you can use a loader on it, and obviously because of the size of it, you can use a loader with long arms. It does give us a little bit more clearance. Oh, that sucked. When trying to heft these things onto a logging trailer, unfortunately. It's not... yeah, I could possibly do with slightly longer arms. There is a little bit of delay on the release on that. It's probably something to do with the fact that, okay, when you close them all the way up, they can close that far. And when they're that far, I think it's detecting them that they're fully closed. So when I unfold them, there's a delay before it reaches the point where it can release. Which explains that occasional oddity as I'm lifting logs. Okay. Oops. Pick that up. Let's look at the side. And lift it off the ground. So angle it very, very slightly forward. Of course, it's a little bit difficult here because we're actually trying to lift going downhill. That was actually a line in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy about the Hagunenons. And it was basically discussing they were a super evolutionary race that could change form at will. Such that if they were sitting down to dinner and found that they couldn't reach the salt, they could evolve into something with far longer arms, but that was totally incapable of ingesting the food they were eating, something like that. So since the plan is not to replace these trees, I could run around here and just zip up all the stumps. Up until this point, I was of two minds whether I wanted to... I've read some of Pratchett. I actually got introduced to Douglas Adams' radio play on BBC Radio 4. Which is where that particular line comes from, because the Hagunenon ship was the ship they stole from the restaurant at the end of the universe. And that was replaced by the pop group ship. So at that point, the books and the TV series, which came after the radio play, diverged in their general storyline. And having been introduced to the entire series through radio, I tend to prefer the radio play to the other versions. They did produce the radio play in written format, so you could actually read the script. But very clever writer. I don't know if we're going to make this, but we'll have a go.